Hello my friends and welcome to another reading vlog. Today I am participating in a readathon. This is a readathon I am doing over on Patreon with my patrons. It is called Camp Horrorween. It is a 48-hour readathon and it is starting, well, it already started actually. I'm filming this intro slash whatever. I'm filming late. The readathon's already technically started at like 5. It's 8 o'clock right now, but the readathon starts today and ends on Sunday, and we're basically just reading any like camp themed or summery horror books, but they can read whatever they want. They don't have to follow the like theme. It's just a low pressure readathon that is just supposed to be fun, and we're currently doing sprints. I've been sprinting for almost 4 hours now because like I said, I'm starting this vlog a little late. I kind of forgot that I was going to be vlogging the readathon. But on sprints, I decided to start Dark Waters by Catherine Arden. I am enjoying it. It's not really like summery, but they're on an island and on a boat in this book, so I feel like it works for the theme. But I am about almost 100 pages in. I haven't read that much because we've been chatting a lot on sprints, so I've been a little bit distracted, but this is what I'm currently reading. This is my first read for the readathon. I'm hoping to read Empty Smiles after this one because I really want to read it, and I got it on Libby because I haven't bought it yet because I want the paperback edition that's not coming out till August like 15th. I want it in paperback. That way it matches the other books in the series that I own. So I'm going to read Empty Smiles, the 4th book, on my Kindle. But that's my plan for right now. I'm hoping to finish these tonight. I don't know how long we're going to be sprinting because it is getting kind of late for some people, but I'll be sprinting again tomorrow. So that's pretty much my update. This is the beginning of the readathon. We are like 3 hours in. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but hopefully I can read a little bit faster. I'm a little bit distracted, but I'm gonna keep reading this, and yeah, that's gonna be my first read for the readathon. So I will check in hopefully when I have an update or when I've read this entire book and I'm done, so I can actually have more to talk about. But that is where I'm at right now. So I'm just really excited to do this readathon, and I'm having a lot of fun with my patrons. So I'm just gonna keep on having fun and see what happens over the 48 hours. So I will check in a little bit. Hello friends and welcome to a check-in. So it is officially Saturday. It's a little after 5 p.m. which means that we have come to the 24-hour mark. 24 hours has come and gone of the readathon. So we're halfway through it, and I'm going to tell you what I've read so far. So last night I finished Dark Waters by Catherine Arden, and then just like 30 minutes ago I finished Empty Smiles, so book 3 and 4 of the series. And honestly, I just really love this middle grade series. I think it's so creepy and so fun, and I just had like a blast reading it. I think this one is probably my least favorite, Dark Waters. It kind of centers around Champ, the Vermont Loch Ness monster, and it's just not really like my kind of story. I don't know, it was fine. I still liked Coco, Brian, and Ollie together, and I still liked the overall like plot. I just don't think it holds up as well compared to 1 and 2. So this one is definitely like my least favorite. And then of course I read Empty Smiles, which was the 4th book, the final book, and I really enjoyed that one, particularly because there were clowns in it, and I am terrified of clowns, so I feel like that one kind of had an edge to the others. I feel like 1 and 4 were like the creepiest to me because 1 dealt with scarecrows and 4 dealt with clowns, so I feel like those two were just like the creepiest of the 4 books, and I think I enjoyed those two the most. I think they're my favorite out of the series. So I think number 1's my favorite, then number 4, then number 2, then number 3, I think. I think that would be my overall ranking. I'm still gonna give this one like 4 stars, and Empty Smiles I'm either gonna give a 4.5, maybe a 5. I might bump it up to a 5, I don't know. But I mean, none of the books were bad. I had fun with all of them, and I really enjoyed the series. It was just a blast. It's made me realize that I need to read more middle grade. I say this a lot, but I just don't pick up a lot of middle grade horror, and every time I read it, I'm always upset at myself that I don't pick it up more because it's just so much fun. I just have such a good time when I read it, so definitely need to pick up more middle grade, and I loved this series so much. So I think I'm gonna go back to my original TBR that I made for this readathon, and I was going back and forth between The Honeys or The Lake House, and I was talking about it on sprints because I'm doing sprints right now. We've been doing it for like 5 hours. I started at like 12 p.m. today. So I was talking about it on live. I told them I didn't know which one I wanted to read first, but they decided that I should read The Honeys first. So I think I'm gonna go with The Honeys and try to get this one read today, like finish it, and then tomorrow if I can get this one read, and then hopefully that'll end the readathon. It won't be as many books that I wanted to get read, but I still think it will be fun. So I think I'm going to start with The Honeys next, and then work my way up to The Lake House and see if I can get both of these finished before tomorrow at 5 p.m. So I will update you when I have something to say about The Honeys or when I finish it or something, but I will let you know how that's going in the next check-in. Hello friends, it is Sunday. It is the last day of Camp Horrorween. It is 12:50, so it's almost 1 in the afternoon, and I'm currently sprinting with my patrons, but I have a little update. I obviously started The Honeys yesterday, and I am about this far. I'm on page 247 right now. I have very mixed thoughts about this because I don't know what's going on. So this is a YA horror, and it's about the main character Mars, who is gender fluid, and their twin sister just recently died, and it was like a really odd circumstance how their sister died, and they're kind of struggling with it, so they decide to go to this summer camp that their sister went to every summer. It's called the Aspen Conservatory, and it's like this rich kid, prestigious, you know, summer camp, I guess. And their sister had these friends called the Honeys. They're these girls, and I guess Mars wants to like go get closure and kind of find out what really happened, because the sister's death is very odd. It doesn't feel right. So that's what this book is about. It just feels weird. It feels kind of like fever dreamy, I guess. Like it's like a vivid fever dream when you're reading it. And I kind of feel like I know what's going on, but I don't think I do know what's going on. I don't know. I feel very lost. It kind of reminds me of Bunny by Mona Awad, just like a little bit, not exactly, but I don't know, it kind of has a similar vibe to it, a similar feeling. So I'm just not really sure what's going on. I think I know. I just don't know if I'm going to get any resolution from the end with this one. Like, I don't know if everything's gonna come full circle or if any of my questions are gonna be answered. I feel like I'm gonna kind of be stuck, a little bit lost. I don't know. So I'm hesitant. I don't know how I feel about it. I am enjoying it. It's a fun read. It's kind of just weird and like crazy to read. I don't know. I like it though. I like the imagery. I like the setting. I like the main character Mars. I really enjoy them a lot. But I don't know, and the Honeys are very interesting. I'm very intrigued by the Honeys, but I just can't really put a finger on what this book is doing. Like, I just don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it. I don't know what's gonna happen. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping to finish this here soon. We're about to be done with a sprint here in like 5 minutes, so I don't have too much longer to read, but I'm hoping to finish it on the next sprint, maybe, if I can like really focus. So I want to get this one done because I have another book I want to read today before the readathon is over, so I'm hopeful that I can get that done as well after this. So that's where I'm at right now in the readathon. We only have like 4 more hours, to be honest, so I don't know how much I'm actually going to get done. I might go a little bit over the like time limit, so just to finish a book. We'll see though. So that's my update for right now. That's all I have to say about the honeys because I don't really know how I'm feeling about it right now because I don't really know what's going on, but I am enjoying it, so I guess we'll see how I feel when I've finished it and I've read the ending. So I will give you an update once I have finished it and hopefully have more concrete feelings about this book. Hello my friends, I am back. I have just finished the honeys and technically the readathon is over. It is 5:17 here, so the readathon is technically done. I may pick up another book and try to get it read just for fun. And since it is my own readathon, I can go over the time limit if I want to. But here are my overall thoughts of this book. I'm glad I waited until the end to fully say if I didn't like it because I feel like where I was in the last check-in, not that I didn't like the book, it had hit a point where I was like, not bored, but I was just like, I don't really get this book. Like, where is it going? What is this? I do wish we had had more answers in the end. I feel like we do get some sort of conclusion to a lot of things, but personally, I would have liked a little bit more answers and like history. I can't say about what, but surrounding some things that you find out in the end about this book. I just wish we had gotten a little bit more clarity and like whys and hows and whats and like how it all started. I wish we had gotten that. But otherwise, I have to say that I really enjoyed this book. The writing is it has a very luscious prose to it. Like, it's very descriptive, but in like a very vivid way. I don't know, like, I was trying to say earlier on sprints, I know it doesn't make sense, but the way this cover looks, the flowers and the brightness, the vividness, the dripping, like melting word, how it starts to drip down as it gets closer to the bottom, I feel like this is the perfect representation of like how this book reads. Like, this is a very good like artistic physical representation of how it feels to read the book. That might not make sense, but that's the only way I can really describe it. It just is a very interesting writing style. I think some of it does come off a little cheesy, some of the dialogue, but it is YA, so I'm not like super surprised by that. I loved Mars. I thought Mars was a great main character. I did like the discussion surrounding gender roles and kind of like wealth throughout this book. I thought it did a really good job on the commentary that it was trying to tackle, which I'm glad because, you know, sometimes I feel like books that do have a heavy focus on commentary can come off not great sometimes. Just the writing feels a little meh. So I am glad that this one felt good. It felt like it was well written. I said it earlier, I think this reminds me of Bunny by Mona Awad, and honestly I'm not the biggest fan of Bunny. I know that everyone loves that book. To me it was way too confusing, like super confusing. I never knew what was going on and you never really got answers, and it just like kind of frustrated me. It was a little too off the wall and like too fever dream, and I feel like this book follows a fine line between becoming like Bunny for me. It stayed in an area where I was able to grasp what was going on, and like I said, I wish we had gotten more answers in the end, but I feel like I got enough satisfactory answers that I was able to follow along and I understood what this book was actually like doing and where it was going. There was a fun Jennifer's Body reference in here, which I love Jennifer's Body, so I was really like happy to see that. I laughed because I was like, oh my god, Jennifer's Body, so cool. So that was great. There's a lot of good body horror in here. It's very like graphic, but in a really well written way where you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I don't know, it had a really good focus on body horror. I wasn't really expecting the body horror, but I really enjoyed it after it started happening, and I was like, okay, it got really interesting. And yeah, overall, I did like it. I thought it was a good, fun read. Very Fever Dream-like, very like vivid imagery, which I loved, and it was kind of confusing, kind of bizarre to read because you feel like you don't know what's going on all the time, but I think it worked well, and I liked the setting a lot, like the summer camp setting. I thought that worked really well for it. So overall, really happy with this one. I think I would give it 4 stars. So yeah, I'm happy I read it. I'm happy I got it off my TBR and actually finally read it because I've heard so many good things about it. So like I said, technically the readathon is over. Technically I shouldn't be reading anymore, but like I said, it's my own readathon, and if I want to keep reading, I'm going to keep reading. So I'm going to start and hopefully finish The Lake House by Sarah Beth Durst. This is another like summer camp YA, and I really love the cover, so I'm hoping it's good. I've seen mixed reviews on it, but I want to give it a read, so I think I'm going to give it a try and start reading it. But I'm about to finish sprints. We have like 10 minutes left, and this is my last sprint, so I will be reading this on my little lonesome for the rest of the night, and I will check in when I either finish this or I have something to say about it. So I will see you then. Hello friends, and welcome to the last check-in for this reading vlog. If you're wondering why I'm so like scooted over to this side, it's because Letty is sitting on the chair and she kind of just took the whole chair. So I'm sitting on the littlest corner so I can film this clip because she wanted to sit with me and I wasn't gonna say no. And now she's made the chair hers, so I am so grateful that she allowed a space for my butt to sit on. Anyways, I am here to update you all. I started The Lake House and finished it last night / this morning technically. Remember, this is like my cheat book. The readathon was over when I started it, but I wanted to get one more book in, so you know, it's a little bit of a cheat, but I wanted to read it. I have very mixed feelings on this YA horror thriller. I thought it was more of a thriller, but honestly, it goes in a direction that makes me think it's more horror. So let me just explain to you what this book is about. In this story, we are following Claire. She is the main character, and Claire is very anxious. She pretty much thinks about every possible bad thing that can happen and spirals because of it. And I related to her a lot because I do the exact same thing. One bad thing leads me to think about every bad thing. Then I go into a downward spiral and I can't stop. So I really related to Claire. But her parents send her to this camp. It's called The Lake House. And they kind of want her to get some fresh air and try to like, you know, relax, have a good time, make friends. Her and 2 other girls are kind of late to this camp. They also got sent by their parents kind of at a later time, so they're going to the camp by themselves and everyone else is supposed to be there waiting for them. And when they get dropped off at the lake house in the middle of the woods, they realize that there is no one there and the lake house has been burnt to the ground. And they start panicking and they end up finding a dead body, and so they think that there's a murderer in there, and so they kind of have to survive just like the elements with like no food, no water, but also there's someone like hunting them as well. So I have mixed feelings. Like I said, I thought this book was going to be similar to The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins, which when I read that book, I wasn't sure I was gonna like it, but then like the ending of the book kind of had a twist and it went in a direction that I really liked. So I was kind of anticipating the same thing from this story, and I thought it was gonna be more of like a slasher, to be honest, just based off the synopsis, and it kind of is a slasher, but there's like another element to this story that I'm not like obsessed with. I feel like a majority of this book is very much just like survival. It's about them, you know, trying to not starve, get water, survive, you know, the elements. So it does get a little bit repetitive and kind of boring, honestly. It's not bad, it's just, I thought this was a thriller, so it just doesn't have a lot of like tension. It's not very high stakes. It doesn't feel like they're gonna die at any point, and it doesn't feel like anything is super tense and scary like you think it would be if you were stuck in the woods without food and water and shelter. So I think that was another thing that really disappointed me. The turn it takes to make it definitely more of like a horror story than a thriller. I wasn't super impressed by it just because it doesn't really make a ton of sense. It doesn't feel like it was extremely thought out. It just kind of feels like a weird addition to the story. I kind of wish that part had been left out and it had just been more about like being hunted and like the survival aspect. I think I would have enjoyed it more. It just doesn't feel very memorable, even with that twist that leans more horror, which is super unfortunate. But the biggest thing that makes me really like this story is the friendship between the three girls. I loved the three characters so much. I thought that they were really like cute, and I just really liked them. I really liked how they communicated and they worked together, and I just thought that they were really the soul of this story, and that's kind of why I like this one. And it's so hard for me because it's not at all what I wanted, and it was disappointing, but it wasn't bad. I would say it's probably like a 3.5. It's hard because of that friendship. I want to rate it higher. I truly do. And it definitely wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I really wanted it to be more of like a slasher, I think. Overall, wasn't the best YA horror thriller or whatever it is. But it's not horrible, but it's not like the greatest thing I've ever read. It's super unfortunate because the cover of this is beautiful. But that is it. The 48-hour readathon Camp Horrorween was a success. It was so much fun. I had a blast sprinting every day over the weekend with my patrons, and we just had such a good time chatting and reading, and we just had so much fun. And I love doing these 48-hour seasonal readathons. I just think they're so much fun, and it just lets us hang out, and it's not a ton of pressure, and they're just like easy, fun readathons. It was just a blast, and I'm so thankful that everyone had fun, and it was just a great time. So it was definitely a success. So that is going to do it for another 48-hour readathon from me. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did and you like seeing me do 48-hour reading vlogs, give this video a thumbs up. That way I know and I can keep doing them in the future. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon linked in the description in case you want to check it out. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you are having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.